In Model 2, we will look at governance and compliance. Under governance and compliance, we will cover the following topics. We will look at Azure regions, Azure regional pair, Azure subscriptions, Azure account, Azure subscription types, Azure resource tags, Azure management groups, Azure policy, implementing Azure policy, role-based access control, which is also called as RBAC, role definitions, role assignment. We'll understand differences between Azure RBAC rules and Azure AD rules. And finally, we will look at Azure RBAC rules. In Azure Global Infrastructure, we will look at Azure regions. The Microsoft Azure is made up of data centers, and these data centers are located around the globe. All these data centers are organized and made available to end users by region. So region is defined as a geographical area containing at least one or more data centers, and these data centers are in close proximity to end users, and all these data centers within regions are networked together with a low latency network. Azure is generally available in 50 plus regions and available in 140 countries. A few examples of regions are West US, Canada Central, West Europe, Australia East, and Japan West. The Microsoft Azure has more number of regions, that is data centers, located around the globe than any other public providers. Here we are going to see about few things to know about regions. Azure has more global regions than any other cloud providers. Microsoft Azure has more global data centers available across regions than any other cloud providers such as Google and Amazon's. Regions provide customer the flexibility and scale needed to bring the application closest to user. The Azure regions enables customer to be flexible and provide scalability to applications and resources and brings all your application closest to user. Regions preserve data residency and offer comprehensive compliance and resiliency option for customers. For most Azure services, when you deploy resources in Azure, you choose the region where you want the resource to be deployed. When you deploy a resource in Azure, you need to choose the Azure regions where you're going to deploy the Azure resources. Some services or virtual machine features are only available in certain regions, such as specific virtual machine sizes or storage types. In Azure regions, you won't have all the services available in all regions. Few regions will have only few limited services. So when you're deploying an application or resources in Azure, you need to choose the regions where the services are available. There are some global Azure services that do not require you to select a region, such as Microsoft Azure Active Directory, Microsoft Azure Traffic Manager, or Azure DNS services. In Microsoft Azure, we also have some of our global services available where you don't need to select regions. All these services are available globally. Few Azure services which is available globally are Microsoft Azure Active Directory, Microsoft Azure Traffic Manager, and Azure DNS service. Each Azure region is paired with another region with same geography together making a region pair. You can pair your regions with other regions within the same geography, which is called as region pair. Region pair is important when there is a natural calamities or disasters in particular regions, the users or customers in the regions still can access the application and services in other regions. Since these regions, both the regions are paired within the same geographical boundary. We have the exception only for Brazil South, which is paired with region outside its geography. Things to know about regional pairs. A regional pair consists of two regions within the same geography. The Microsoft Azure provides planned maintenance across regional pairs, ensuring only one region in each pair updates at a time. If there is an outage that affects multiple regions, at least one region in each region pair will be prioritized for recovery. Next, we look at some of the features of regional pairs. The regional pairs provides physical isolation. Microsoft Azure prefers at least 300 miles of separation between your data centers in a regional pair. Although this isn't practical or possible in all geographies. By having physical data center separation, you can reduce the likelihood of natural disasters, civil unrest, power outages, or any other physical network outages, which affects both regions. Azure Regional Pass also provides platform provisioned replications. In platform provision replications, some services such as geo redundant storage, which provides automatic replication to the paired region recovery order. If you have an event of a broad outage, recovery of one region is prioritized out of every pair. The applications that are deployed across paired regions are guaranteed to have one of the regions recovered with priority. Sequential updates. When Microsoft Azure has planned for Azure system updates that are rolled out to pair regions sequentially, not at the same time, helps us to minimize the downtime and also the effect of bugs and logical failures is a rare event of the bad update. Finally, if you have data residency, a region resides within the same geography as its pair except Brazil South, which is paired outside its geography to meet the data residency requirements for tax and law enforcement purposes. Azure subscriptions. What is Azure subscriptions? An Azure subscription is defined as a logical unit of Azure services that is linked to an Azure account. In your organizations, the billing for Azure services is done on a per subscription basis. If your account is the only account associated with the subscriptions, then you are responsible for the billing. The Azure subscriptions helps you organize access to cloud services and resources. With Azure subscriptions, you can control how resource usage is reported, how a billing is done, and the amount you are paid. In your organizations, you can have a multiple departments, and each department can have a separate subscriptions. Each subscriptions can have a different billing and payment setup. So you can have a different subscriptions and different plans by different departments, projects, regional office, and so on, etc. Every cloud services belongs to subscriptions, and subscription ID may be required for programmatic operations. Considering your organizations, you have a different departments like you have a dev department, test department, a production department. To manage your billings for each department, we create a subscription for each department. We can create a separate subscriptions for a dev department, test department, and production department. All these three subscriptions can be linked to Azure account as a single account. Administrator uses Azure account to manage the subscriptions and also manage the billings of your subscriptions. Resources deployed and managed for each subscriptions such as dev, test, and productions will be tagged under respective subscription types. Azure accounts. Every subscriptions have accounts. An Azure account is simply an identity in Azure Active Directory or a directory that is trusted by Azure AD, such as work or school organizations. If you don't belong to any of this organization account, you can sign up for Azure Active Directory using your Microsoft account, which is also trusted by your Azure AD. Next, we look at how to getting access to Azure resources. Every Azure subscriptions is associated with an Azure Active Directory. Users and services that access resources on the subscriptions first need to authenticate to Azure Active Directory. If you have access to Azure Active Directory, users will be granted access to your Azure resources and you would add them to Azure Active Directory associated with your subscriptions. Users will now have access to all your resources in your subscriptions. Next, we'll look at how to get your subscriptions. To get your subscriptions, there are several ways to get Azure subscriptions. They are enterprise agreements, Microsoft reseller, Microsoft partners, and personal free account. We'll talk about these subscription types in next section. Subscription types. Already in previous section we talked about different types of subscriptions. We have four different types of subscriptions. They are enterprise agreement. Any enterprise agreement customer can add Azure to the agreement, making an upfront monetary commitment to Azure. The commitment is consumed throughout a year by using any combination of wide variety of cloud services Azure offers from its global data centers. The enterprise agreements have a 9.95% monthly SLA. Next subscription type is reseller. You can buy Azure through an open licensing program which provides a simple, flexible way to purchase cloud services from a Microsoft reseller. If you already purchased an Azure in open license key, activate a new subscriptions or add more credits. Next, we have partners. You can find a Microsoft partner who can design and implement your Azure cloud solutions. These partners have business and technology expertise to recommend solutions that meet the unique needs of your business. Finally, in Azure subscriptions, we have personal free account. With the free trial account, you can get started using Azure right away and you won't be charged until you choose to upgrade. Next, we'll look at subscription usage. We have four different types of subscription usage. They are Azure free subscriptions. Azure offers free and paid subscription option to suit different needs and requirements. The most commonly used subscriptions are an Azure free subscriptions includes a $200 credit to spend on any services for the first 30 days. Free access to most popular Azure products for 12 months and access to more than 25 products that are always free. This is an excellent way for a new users to get started. To set up a free subscriptions, you need a phone number, credit card, and a Microsoft account. Next subscription usage is Azure Pay As You Go subscriptions. A Pay As You Go subscription charges you monthly for the services you used in the billing period. This subscription type is appropriate for a wide range of users from individuals to small business and also to many large organizations as well. Enterprise Agreement. Azure Enterprise Agreement provides flexibility to buy cloud services and software licenses under one agreement with discounts for new licenses and software assurance. It is targeted at enterprise scale organizations. Finally, we have Azure for Student subscriptions. An Azure for Student subscription include $100 credit in to be used within first 12 months plus select free services without requiring a credit card at sign up. You must verify your student status through your organizational email address. Next, we look at Azure Cost Management. As you create and use Azure resources, you are charged for the resources. Use Azure Cost Management and billing features to conduct billing administrative tasks and access to cost. You also use these features to monitor, control Azure spending and to optimize Azure resource usage. Azure Resource Tags. With Azure Resource Tags, you can apply tags to your Azure resources to logically organize them by categories. Each tag consists of a name and a value. For example, you can apply the name environment and the value production or development to your resources. After creating your tags, you can associate them with the appropriate resources. With tags in place, you can retrieve all the resources in your subscriptions with the tag name and value. This means you can retrieve related resources from different resource groups. Perhaps one of the best use of tag is for group billing data. When you choose resource group, the tag appear in tag column. You can then group virtual machines by cost center and production environment. Few important things to note about tags are each resource or resource groups can have maximum 50 tags or value pairs. Tags applied to resource groups are not inherited by the resources in the resource group. If you want to create a lot of tags programmatically, you can use either Windows PowerShell or say like commandlets. Azure Management Groups. If your organization has several subscriptions, you may need a way to efficiently manage access, policies, and complaints for those subscriptions. Azure Management Group provides a level of scope above subscriptions. You organize subscriptions into containers called management groups and apply your governance conditions to management groups. Azure Management Groups enable organizational alignment for your Azure subscriptions to custom hierarchies and grouping, targeting of policies and spend budgeting across subscriptions and also provide inheritance down the hierarchies. With Azure Management Groups, you can provide compliance and cost reporting by organizations. All the subscriptions within the management groups automatically inherit the conditions applied to the management group. For example, You can apply policies to management groups that limits the regions allowable for virtual machine creations. This policy would be applied to all management groups, subscriptions, and resources under management group by only allowing VMs to be created in that region. Azure Policy. Azure Policy is a service in Azure that you can create, assign, and manage policies. These policies enforce different rules over your resources, so those resources stay compliant with your corporate standards and service level agreement. Azure Policy does this by running an evaluations of your resources and scanning for those not compliant with the policies you have created. The main advantages of Azure policies are enforcement and compliance. It turns on built-in policies or build custom ones for all resources and resource types. It provides real-time policy evaluation and enforcement, and it also provides periodic on-demand compliance evaluations. Apply policy at scale. Apply policies to management groups with control across your entire organization. Apply multiple policies and aggregate policy states with policy initiatives. It also defines an escalation group. Remediations. It provides real-time remediations and remediation on existing resources. Azure policy will be important to you if your team runs an environment where you need to govern multiple engineering team, multiple subscriptions, need to standardize or enforce how cloud resources are configured, and manage regulatory compliance, cost control, security, or design consistency. Some of the use cases of Azure policies are using Azure policies. You can specify the resource types that your organizations can deploy. With Azure policies, you can specify a set of virtual machine SKUs that your organization can deploy. You can also restrict the location your organization can specify when deploying resources. Using Azure policies, you can enforce a required tag and its value. With Azure policy, you can provide audit if Azure backup service is enabled for all virtual machines. Implementing Azure policy. To implement Azure policies, you can follow these steps. Number one, browse policy definition. A policy definition expresses what to evaluate and what action to take. Every policy definition has condition under which it is enforced. It has an accompanying effect that takes place if the condition are met. For example, you could prevent virtual machines from being deployed if they are exposed to a public IP address. Number two is create initiative definition. Initiative definition is a set of policy definition to help track your complaint state for a larger goal. For example, ensuring a branch office is compliant. Number three, scope the initiative definitions. You can limit the scope of initiative definitions to management groups, subscriptions, or resource groups. Number four, we have view policy evaluation results. Once an initiative definition is assigned, you can evaluate the state of compliance for all your resources. Individual resources, resource groups, and subscriptions within a scope can be exempted from having policy rules. These exclusions are handled individually for each assignment. Policy definitions. There are many built-in policy definitions for you to choose from. Sorting by category will help you to locate what you need. For example, the allowed virtual machine SKUs enable you to specify a set of virtual machines SKU that your organization can deploy. The allowed location policy enables you to restrict the location that your organization can specify when deploying resources. This can be used to enforce your geo compliance requirement. If there isn't an applicable policy, you can add a new policy definitions. Easiest way to do is to import a policy from GitHub. New policy definitions are added almost every day. Policy definitions have a specific JSON format. Create initiative definitions. Once you have determined which policy definitions you need, you can create an initiative definitions. These definitions will include one or more policies. Things to be noted while creating your initiative definitions are currently initiative definitions can have up to 100 policies. You should determine what planning will be needed to organize your policy definitions. Scoped initiatives. Once, once your initiative definition is created, you can assign the definition to establish its scope. A scope determines what resources or grouping of resources the policy assignment gets enforced on. In this diagram, you can select the subscriptions and then optionally select a resource group. Determine compliance. Once your policy is in place, you can use the compliance blade to review non-compliant initiatives, non-compliant policies, and non-compliant resources. When a condition is evaluated against your existing resources and found true, then those resources are marked as non-compliant with the policies. Although the portal does not show the evaluation logic, the complaint state results are shown. The complaint state results is either complaint or non-compliant. Policy evaluation happens about once an hour, which means that if you make changes to your policy definitions and create a policy assignment, then it will be re-evaluated over your resources within an hour. Role-based access control, which is also called as RBAC. In this section, we will look at what is role-based access control and why do we need role-based access control. Access management for cloud resources is a critical function for any organization that is using cloud. Role-based access control helps to manage who have access to Azure resources, what they can do with those resources, what areas they have access to. Role-based access control is an authorization system built on Azure Resource Manager that provides fine-grained access management of resources in Azure. Next, we'll look at what can you do with role-based access control. With role-based access control, you can allow application to access all resources in a resource group. Using role-based access control, you can allow one users to manage virtual machines in a subscriptions and another users to manage virtual networks. You can also use role-based access control for databases to allow DB groups to manage SQL databases in a subscription. Using role-based access control, you can allow users to manage all resources in a resource group such as virtual machines, websites, and subnets. Next, we'll look at important concepts of role-based access control. Security principle. Security principle is defined as an object that represents something that is requesting access to resources. Example of security principles are users, groups, service principles, and manage identity. Role definitions. Role definition is defined as a collection of permissions that list the operations that can be performed. These operations can be either be reader role, contributor role, owner role, user access role, or administrator roles. Scope. Scope is defined as a boundary for level of access that is requested. Scope can be either be subscriptions, management groups, or resources. Assignment. By attaching a role definition to a security principle at particular scope, user can grant access described in a role definition by creating an assignment. Three assignments are currently read-only and can be only be set by Azure. Role definitions. Using RBAC, you can segregate duties within your team and grant only the amount of access to users that they need to perform their jobs. Instead of giving everybody unrestricted permissions in your Azure subscriptions or resources, you can allow only certain actions at a particular scope. When planning your access control strategy, it is a practice to grant users the least privilege to get the work done. In this diagram, we have two types of roles, built-in roles and custom roles. Built-in roles are roles that is already available in Azure. We have few built-in roles like owner, contributor role, reader role, backup operator role, security reader role, user access administrator role, virtual machine contributor role. Custom roles are roles which is created by users or customers. Each role is set of properties defined in a JSON file. This role definition includes name, ID, and descriptions. It also includes allowable permissions, which is called as actions, and deny permissions, which is called as not actions, and a scope. Role assignment. A role assignment is defined as a process of attaching a role definition to a user, group, service principal, or manage identity at a particular scope for the purpose of granting access. The access is granted by creating a role assignment, and access is revoked by removing a role assignment. This diagram shows an example of a role assignment. In this example, the marketing group has been assigned the contributor role for the Pharma sales resource group. This means that users in the marketing group can create or manage any Azure resources in the Pharma sales resource group. The marketing users do not have access to resources outside the Pharma sales resource group unless they are part of another role assignment. Here you need to notice that access does not need to be granted to entire subscriptions. Roles can also be assigned for resource groups as well as for individual resources. In Azure RBAC, a resource inherits role assignment from its parent resources. So if a user, group, or service is granted access to only resource group within the subscriptions, they will be able to access only the resource group and resources within it, not the other resource groups within the subscriptions. In this section, we will look at differences between Azure RBAC roles and Azure AD roles. If you're new to Azure, you may find it little challenging to understand all different roles in Azure. To better understand roles in Azure, it helps to know some of the history. When Azure was initially released, access to resources was managed with just three administrator roles. They are account administrator, service administrator, and co-administrator. Later we had role-based access control, which is also called as RBAC for Azure resources was added. Azure RBAC is a newer authorization system that provides fine-grained access management to Azure resources. RBAC includes many built-in roles and can be assigned at different scope and allows you to create your own custom roles. To manage resources in Azure AD, such as users, groups, and domains, there are several Azure AD administrator roles. We will look at some of differences between Azure RBAC roles and Azure AD roles. Azure RBAC roles provides management access to Azure resources, whereas in Azure AD roles, it provides manage access to Azure Active Directory resources. In Azure RBAC roles, scope can be specified at multiple levels. We have multiple levels of management in RBAC roles, such as management group, subscriptions, resource group, and resources. Whereas in Azure AD roles, scope is at tenant level. In Azure RBAC roles, the role information can be accessed either by using Azure Portal or Azure CLI or Azure PowerShell or Azure Resource Manager template or either REST API. In Azure AD roles, role information can be accessed through Azure Admin Portal, Office 365 Admin Portal, or Microsoft Graph Azure AD PowerShell. Azure RBAC roles. Azure includes several built-in roles that you can use. The following list 4 fundamental built-in roles. Owner. Owner role has full access to all resources, including right to delegate access to others. The service administrator and co-administrator are assigned the owner role at the subscription scope. This applies to all resource types. Contributor role. In contributor role, you can create and manage all type of Azure resources but can't grant access to others. This applies to all resource types. Reader. In reader role, you can view existing Azure resources. This applies to all resource types. User access administrator. In user access administrator role, it allows you to manage user access to Azure resources. This applies to managing access rather than to managing resources. Virtual machine contributor role. In virtual machine contributor role, it allows you to users to create, manage virtual machines. If the built-in roles don't meet the specific needs of your organization, you can create your own custom roles.